Hello everyone, I'm Blake Childress, and I'm That One Filmmaker, and today I will be talking about the top 5 best and top 5 worst films of 2019, in my opinion. So without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Like the fella once said, ain't that a kick in the head?
Now 2019 was an interesting year for movies, to say the least. Not only were there disappointing sequels and reboots, but there were also just a lot of bad original movies. Most of them from Hollywood, but there were actually a few bad independent films. Now, one thing that sucked about 2019, in my opinion, was that there was not a lot of so bad it's good movies. Most of the films were just mediocre, stupid, boring, and uninspired. Let's start this video off with my top 5 worst films of 2019. Coming in at number 5, we have the Netflix original film titled Murder Mystery. Now, I know what you're saying. Blake, why would you choose a movie like this for your top 5 worst? Well, here's the deal. One of the worst things a movie can be is boring. And Murder Mystery is just that.
I don't want to give it away. It was the butler. The butler did it.
Leave my books alone, okay? Just let me read.
Timber.
Adam Sandler's been in some bad comedies over the years, but Murder Mystery feels like the laziest out of all of them. Most of the jokes have no comedic timing. The movie has a literal commercial for cold medication. The actors all seem like they have something better to do. And in all honesty, the only actor that had anything in the movie was Jennifer Aniston, who tried her best to provide some sort of effort with her performance. And Adam Sandler, I swear, is so depressing in this movie. Like, it was very hard to watch him in this movie.
It's watching.
Yeah. Doing it extra hard.
The only other thing I liked about Murder Mystery was the plot. I kind of liked how the whole movie is a celebration of the cheesiness and stupidity of murder mystery stories. And the only problem was the jokes they made towards the genre. They were just, well, boring. Murder Mystery is, at the end of the day, a lackluster, unfunny comedy, which is probably the worst thing a comedy can be. Coming in at number 4, we have Velvet Buzzsaw, which is the newest film from Nightcrawler director Dan Gilroy. Now, it's no secret that I love Nightcrawler a lot. I even made a short film that was a love letter to it. And when he announced Velvet Buzzsaw, I was fairly excited to watch it. And then I sat down and watched it. And yeah, it was shockingly bad. I genuinely had to pause the movie sometimes just to comprehend the directorial choices Gilroy made, because almost every single one was for the worst. Gilroy tried to achieve multiple things with the movie. First, he wanted to make the film a commentary on the art community in Hollywood, and second, he wanted to make a cheesy slasher movie similar to movies like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, and third, he wanted to make a movie that wasn't bad. As for the whole art community thing, I can't really say if the commentary works, but it does feel somewhat offensive, especially with Gyllenhaal's character, who just feels like a person from the Deep South was asked to write a typical Los Angeles person. And all the other characters feel like a bunch of stupid stereotypes. As for the slasher movie aspect, it fails because it doesn't capture the same magic of slasher movies. You see, slashers are fun to watch because you witness a character murdering usually a bunch of stupid teenagers. Sometimes supernatural elements are thrown in to give the genre a twist, but most of the time, it's just a dude killing people. It's like the junk food of movies. Velvet Buzzsaw makes the slasher villain the painter behind the haunted paintings that is murdering all of the main characters. No reason is given, it's just a scary ghost killing people. Velvet Buzzsaw is literal trash, and one of the worst films I've ever seen from a director that has made one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. Coming in at number 3, Dr. Sleep. Dr. Sleep is a film that I was excited for. I loved Ewan McGregor, and I loved the idea of finally getting a sequel to one of my favorite horror films of all time, The Shining. Then I watched it, and it made me mad. So mad that I made my first ever unedited rant video discussing how stupid Dr. Sleep was. If you haven't seen that video, watch it to understand exactly why it was awful. All I'll say in this list video is this. The Shining was a ghost story grounded in reality, where the ghosts could all just be tricks on the characters' minds. Dr. Sleep was a story about zombie vampires that eat children and how a middle-aged man and a little girl stop them. Yeah. Coming in at number 2, The Fanatic. So, I originally planned on making a garbage video on this movie because of how hilariously bad it is, but I was busy because of a lot of schoolwork. But here's the basic gist of this movie. We have famous Scientologist actor John Travolta playing a mentally handicapped celebrity stalker. Devon Sawa from Final Destination 1 playing a famous action star that for some reason doesn't know the difference between a mentally handicapped person and a normal person. So he just beats the crap out of anyone. And Limp Bizkit himself in the directing chair. And we get The Fanatic, one of the most laughably bad movies from this whole entire decade. I swear, this movie is about as funny as The Room.
Don't let him do this to me. I'm a fan. I'm a #1 fan. Is it difficult to find famous people's houses?
I think it's mainly funny because Travolta's character is written, I think, as just a weird guy, but Fred Durst's direction was so bad that the character just comes off as, well, I guess just an offensive portrayal of mentally retarded people. Everyone else in this movie even treats him like a normal guy. I mean, no one ever comforts him, even when he does wrong things. It's always just him getting yelled at, beaten up, shot at, getting his eye ripped off. It's hilariously awful, and I recommend all of you watch it. Download it, but don't pay for it, because of all the people on Earth, Fred Durst is one of the people that doesn't deserve your hard-earned money. And the worst film of 2019 is... Cats. Great. So, I kind of expected Cats to be bad, but I was not expecting it to be this bad. I mean, it's being hailed as one of the worst movies of the decade, and it's getting pulled from Oscar campaigns, and like, a lot has happened just since my holiday special review, which is amazing. Just like Dr. Sleep, I would recommend you watch my review of Cats to understand my full opinion on it. But the basics are this. Cats is the worst film of 2019 simply because it isn't a movie. It has no character, no morals, no story, no protagonist, no real antagonist, no soul. Cats has nothing. Which is why, in my opinion, it is the worst film of 2019. Also, honorable mention to Lion King for almost making this top 5 list. Lion King is seriously the worst theatrically released Hollywood remake I have ever seen since Psycho. It was just an utter disgrace. Well, that was terrible. But let's now move on to what I really want to talk about. The top 5 best films of 2019. Now keep in mind, I haven't seen every film in 2019, like I haven't seen Parasite, Honey Boy, or Knives Out, but I do want to give a quick honorable mention to 2 films. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood and Jojo Rabbit. Both films were wonderful and had amazing performances and writing, but I saw 5 movies that I personally thought were better. So let's jump right into The Irishman. Now, this is a film that garnered a lot of controversy for many reasons that I mostly blame on people that were salty over Martin Scorsese's comments over the MCU films, saying how they aren't cinema and how they're theme park movies. I really don't care about what he thinks about the MCU because, you see, the MCU isn't free from criticism. I mean, I know that from experience. But despite all the hate he got from many people, The Irishman is a film that I loved for numerous reasons. The acting from De Niro, Pesci, and Pacino was fantastic, and the writing of the characters was captivating and made me actually interested in watching the movie. The cinematography was engaging, the direction from Scorsese is brilliant as always. In all honesty, my only problems with the film is its length, which comes in at a whopping 3.5 hours, which is pretty hard to sit through without getting bored. And I also had problems with the reliability of the actual true story of Frank Sheeran, because according to historians and researchers, most of the film is dramatized and exaggerated, so I guess watch the film with that in mind. Irishman is a swan song of gangster films that, if it is the end of the classic gangster film genre, then this is a high note to end on. Peanut Butter Falcon. Peanut Butter Falcon is a film that put a smile on my face throughout all of its runtime. The film feels like a modern-day Mark Twain story come to life. I mean, the plot is kind of genius. Just a special runaway kid and a criminal run away with the kid's caretaker to a wrestling school so that the kid can achieve his dream of becoming a wrestler. To be honest, this is the best feel-good movie of 2019 for me, because there were so many moments where Shia LaBeouf and Zach Gottsagen's character were running around, shooting guns, playing, and doing secret handshakes. Just so many scenes where you just feel happy. The acting from everyone was amazing, especially LaBeouf, who gave up a supporting role that I would call Oscar-worthy. The writing was heartwarming, and the locations they shot at were just breathtaking, because, I mean, it was just mostly a bunch of swamps throughout the deep south of America. It looks awful, which is a nice combo with the whole storyline of LaBeouf and Gottsagen being runaway criminals. My only problem with this film was the ending. I expected something bad was going to happen, and I respected the directors for going for like a ballsy ending, and that is until they kind of threw it away for a ride into the sunset and live happily ever after ending. I guess I just like endings that are more conclusive. But apart from that, great film. Joker. Joker was definitely the most shocking film of 2019 in multiple ways. For one, I did not expect Joker to be such a good movie. I expected it to be like a mediocre origin story of Joker, but it became this weird original remake of Taxi Driver and King of Comedy mixed with like the characters from the Batman comics. It was shocking, intense, and enthralling witnessing the descent of madness Arthur Fleck went through on his journey into becoming the Joker. The movie also became a perfect topic of criticism for modern-day film critics, which Weaselbatches and I discussed in our podcast episode about Joker. And another thing crazy about the film is how much it connects to people, because eventually protesters and political movements around the globe started wearing Joker makeup while protesting. It's kind of amazing how Todd Phillips made a commentary on the political and societal climate of the early 80s in America, and somehow proved how some things have just never changed. The performances from everyone in the film was great, especially Joaquin Phoenix, who gives a downright disturbing and hard-to-watch performance as Arthur Fleck. Todd Phillips had a lot of great shots, and the score was probably my favorite aspect of the film, because the score was the most chilling score out of any movie I've seen in 2019, which explains why I've used the Joker soundtrack for this channel, like, numerous times. Joker is a shocking portrayal of an insane nobody becoming a somebody and starting a revolution. And if that scares critics to the point of review bombing the film on Rotten Tomatoes, well,
That's life.
Marriage Story. Marriage Story is an amazing film because of one reason: realism. This is one of the most painfully realistic films I have ever watched, because Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson both give real performances to the point where I stopped looking at them as actors and looked at them as a real-life couple going through a nasty divorce. Another thing I appreciate is how the film doesn't make divorce simple like a lot of films and entertainment make it. No, the film shows every painstaking detail of how hard it is using lawyers to try and decide custody based on secrets and schedules and personal feelings, and also like how the film wasn't biased and didn't make one of them the hero or the villain. Both Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson were shown as broken people in a broken family, and it hurts to watch. This film makes me afraid to get married, and I think that's one of the reasons why it makes my top 5 best list. Also, according to the movie, Monopoly ruins marriages. Now, each and every film on this best list has a distinct feeling to it, and it connected to me, and it gave me a certain feeling or idea. Irishman made me afraid of the future and getting older. Peanut Butter Falcon made me feel happy to have my friends and family close to me. Joker made me understand the inner thoughts, emotions, and turmoil within a mentally and physically tortured man. Marriage Story made me realize that love doesn't last forever, and we can never truly be happy forever. But for number one, I have to give it to the film that was released on Christmas. We started this video with Sandler, and now we're ending it with Sandler. Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems was my favorite film of 2019 because of one thing: intensity. This is the most intense film I have watched in years. I mean, it got so heart-pumping that I thought I was going to have a literal heart attack throughout the whole movie. The Safdies have crafted a movie similar to Joker in its style of narrative, of painting a portrait of the main character over the course of the movie. Except Uncut Gems has a lead that is so interesting to watch. No matter how many times Howard gets himself into trouble, further digging a hole that he has to crawl out of, you care about him, and you want him to be a winner and be a good person. I only have to say, the main reason I love this movie so much is the performance by Adam Sandler. Sandler gives a performance that is honestly career-defining. Like, I think this movie might have given Sandler an actual film career now. Like, Sandler uses his chops of performing a character that we care about in a way that isn't made for laughs, which is amazing. He isn't playing just another idiot or just another normal guy. He is playing Howard Ratner, a Jewish jewelry shop owner that owes money to gangsters and uses money given to him to place bets on basketball games. Like, who would come up with a character like that? Well, the Safdie brothers, apparently. Seriously, after watching Good Time and this movie, I think the Safdie brothers are probably one of the best film directors currently working today. Now, is Uncut Gems for everyone? Hell no. Which is why a lot of people on Rotten Tomatoes are hating it and calling it overrated. The Safdies have a style of painful intensity and build-up, similar to an erupting volcano that just builds and builds and builds until it blows up in your face. The writing is great, the acting from everyone, and especially Kevin Garnett, the basketball player, was amazing. The cinematography is heavily realistic, and the directing is top of the line. I mean, if this movie doesn't get nominated at the Oscars, then I will literally burn Grown Ups 1 and 2 in a fire and eat their charred remains. Please, Academy. Just give it to them already. If you're up to the task, go check this movie out. It was no doubt in my mind the best film of 2019.
Hey guys, I just got back from my vacation in Port Aransas. I'm re-recording this outro because it kind of felt like just audio with a black screen is just kind of boring. So, thank you guys so much for watching my top 5 best and top 5 worst movies of 2019 list. It was really fun actually editing it. Like, I thought it was just going to be a fucking slog doing it, but it was actually really fun just doing that for the past couple of hours. Another thing I wanted to say was thank you guys so much for making this, like, 2019 the best year ever. Like, this has been the best year of Thatonefilmmaker since I started, because I've met so many friends, I've gotten just a huge boost in subscribers, I've made videos more frequently. It's been a lot, and while I'm tired, I'm happy. And I'm hoping 2020 will be just the greatest fucking year of my life. That's my New Year's resolution, I guess. But thanks. Thanks for everything you guys have done. It's hard to see that, like, my channel isn't as active as a lot of other people, but it's great to see that people are still here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Blake Childress, and I'm now Filmmaker. And I guess I'll see you in the next decade. Bye-bye now.